Welcome to Ideas to Implementation, the podcast for women who have a business idea but feel stuck in a job. Featuring real women with real stories of how they went from employee to boss. My guest today is entrepreneur and business owner Melissa Shervington. Hi Melissa, how are you doing today?
Hi Simone, I'm well, thank you.
Very good. Let's start by telling us about yourself and your business, how long you've been in business, what you do.
Okay, so my business journey has been in existence for 12 years now, and there have been some changes along the way. But yeah, I've been self-employed and running businesses for 12 years in total.
Wow. And what sort of businesses, you said that they've changed. Tell us a little bit about, that
Yeah.
journey.
Okay, so at the moment, my focus is I work with entrepreneurs, and that is through training, coaching, and what would have been events pre-COVID-19. So now transitioning my content that I was due to deliver in a classroom-based setting in training onto online modules. So that's what I'm working on currently, and the whole point of what I do with entrepreneurs is helping them to become unstuck. Because along my own business journey, there's been times where I've been stuck in my own business, almost become a servant and a slave to my business when it should have been serving me. So I've learned the hard way, found ways around that, turned it around, and now I train entrepreneurs on how to do the same. Really? So, but that's been recently. Prior to that, I've run an estate agency business. I've been a trainer for over 10 years now. Training and consultancy, and I've had another business which was youth and community engagement. So quite an array, mix.
Serial entrepreneur, I love it. No, it's really good. And so before starting a business, I know it's been a long time, which is excellent, and that's commendable in itself. Been in business for 12 years. What did you do beforehand? What sort of job did you do before starting your own business?
So beforehand, I was in a 7-year career, and I'm very conscious of numbers, and 7 represents completion. So I felt that I did my cycle and then I left, and I became self-employed at that point. But the 7 years was spent in social housing. So that's where my early career started. Social housing. So there's always been a theme of property, community engagement. And that's what sort of led me into the community engagement, which was the first business. But yes, so it's working for a housing association.
Brilliant. And you mentioned there about, numbers, 7 million completion. I completely agree with that. Did you always have the mind that, okay, after 7 years, you would leave, or did it just evolve? How did you sort of move into running your own business?
So at the time, I didn't plan for the 7 years. It's only on reflection that I realised, okay, that was a pivotal moment. So it was meant to be. I almost felt it. I knew that the time had expired and it was time to move on, but I didn't recognise why, or I hadn't pre-planned for it. But I kind of felt that I had a passion initially, and that was for youth and community engagement. But that quickly turned into a frustration for me, because I was within an organisation that I felt weren't moving quickly enough. A lot of bureaucracy, looking at the different layers of management before a decision can be made. And being, at the time I was in a frontline position, I was frustrated. So I decided that I could find a better way of delivering this service, but as an external client, or I became a client of the housing association in a consultancy delivery. So that kind of, it was a case of a passion turning into a frustration, which evoked a change and then reignited a passion. That was kind of how the journey went for me.
And that's interesting, because sometimes that's the way life happens. So it takes a frustration to sort of give that initial kick, push, whatever you want to call it, but push you into your purpose and where you're supposed to be. Maybe.
Yeah, exactly. I'd say that with your purpose, your passion is always an indicator. So some people still haven't found their why or really know what their purpose is, and a lot of people sort of go through life and never really fulfill their purpose. or come into contact with it, but your passion is a true indicator. And for me at the time, there was a strong passion for youth and community engagement. I was frustrated about what I saw. For example, young people were being given antisocial behaviour orders where I saw another way. I always thought proactive instead of reactive, but I found that a lot of public sector organisations were very reactive to the situation because they didn't know how to handle it. Right. So that was kind of where it stemmed from. Yeah.
And then obviously from young people, then it developed into, you had a property business, and now you're training and developing entrepreneurs as well. So it's still very people-based, is what I can see.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's always been a theme of people. Training has always been a theme. I always wanted to be a trainer, but didn't know how to go about it. So typically when you're in an organisation, you go on regular training. If it's a good organisation, you go on regular training. And I'd always sit in awe, and just when there was a good facilitator, a really good trainer, he would leave you like feeling like actually a paradigm has shifted. I'd be in awe as to how they did that. And I'd always think, I'd love to do this, but I have no idea. How do you become a trainer? It's not one of those things that are, you're taught at school how to become a trainer, in what's your niche, what's your style. So I was always inquisitive around that, which led me really into training.
And how did you go about finding how to become a trainer? Because there may be people listening and watching, and maybe their industry they desire to go into, they're kind of like, I don't know how to do it. I just know. What steps did you take to sort of find out how to become a trainer?
I'd say, well, there were different things running parallel. Richard Branson will always say that if you're presented with an opportunity, even if you don't know how, just say yes and learn on the way. And I remember one of my clients, this was 2010, so this is when I launched Engage Training and Consultancy, not really knowing, being honest, exactly what I was doing, just finding my way through. And one of my clients was a developer, and they developed retirement villages. So they had a plan to develop 5 in Birmingham. They were Coventry based. And they were building one in Newtown, which is an inner city Birmingham area. And they were unsure as to how to engage with the community. So they asked me, I was doing bits of work for them in community engagement, and then I'd start talking about cultural awareness, diversity and inclusion. So they asked me if I knew much about cultural awareness, and I said, yes, of course. Yes. So then they asked, could you deliver a training program for senior management on cultural awareness so we understand the communities that we're working with? So having no clue, I said yes. And then I went away and I pulled together a training program, and it went so well that they called me back in repeatedly. But I recognised that I needed the skill behind it as well. So I did initially, I think it was a Petals at the time. I think the name of the course has changed now, but that's preparing to teach in the lifelong learning sector or something like that it stands for. So I did a Petals, a train the trainer, then a Petals course, and then just delivering. So actually just going in and delivering and learning on the job, combined with the academic side of it.
Yeah.
And then finding my own niche, which evolved organically. But it really started out with me just saying yes. That's where it started, and then finding a way, literally.
That. Yeah. And that's it. Say yes and find a way along the way. I love that. So
yeah.
What kind of, or were there any challenges? I mean, there normally are with the starting your business. What challenges or the main challenge did you come up against when starting your business?
Which business are we referring to then? Training?
Let's stick to the training. I guess your present day, so training entrepreneurs. And I'm just thinking, let's stick with that one.
So resistance. If I think about when I launched Engage Training and Consultancy, was 2010. So I recall, at the time I'd been running another business with a business partner, which was the Youth and Community Engagement, and that was First Class Youth. So we went in different directions, my business partner and I wanted to go down the route where I would then be training line staff within housing associations, local authorities, developers, how to do the community engagement rather than delivering it on the ground. So I launched the company 2010, and that was my plan. But then what happened at the time was the biggest challenge was changing government. So Conservative came in 2010 and shifted the whole, everything changed in terms of the budgets that our clients who were predominantly public sector, their budgets had gone overnight. It was no longer a priority. The manifesto that the Conservative had was around community engagement, but delivered in a completely different way, which meant we had to then reshape the way that the services were delivered, reshape the way that we presented the training, reshape the way that we marketed it. Looking ahead, which at the time I was so focused on what I was doing there and then that I failed to look at what if things change, political landscape, what impact would that have on my business? Some of these factors that we often don't take into consideration, which now I implement, and I always look at what, the SWOT analysis model in terms of what potential threats are on the horizon. But that would have been my biggest barrier. So I'd set up a business which changed overnight because the government changed.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is that sometimes external factors, you can have a plan to a degree, but the external factors can come in. So that's the importance, like you're saying, that looking ahead, having contingency, a backup plan for the backup plan. Just, being as forward thinking as possible.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So you've obviously, you've learned, you've run successful businesses over the years. What's been your greatest achievement in your 12 years of running a business?
I'd say to date it would have been the estate agency business, which was Amity Properties. I launched that business with end in mind. So prior to that, I'd read the E-Myth, Michael E. Gerber, and recognised the importance of having a clear exit strategy. So I hadn't implemented that in the previous business. This was a learning curve. So I started knowing that I wanted to grow it from scratch. Literally didn't have any clients, opened the doors and went through my phone book, and that's how I started. Started with my own network and it built from there. But I knew that I wanted to grow the business and then sell it. And I gave myself a 5-year plan, which I stuck to it. So the sale completed 5.5 years in, which was December 2019. So actually seeing the business go from the idea, the concept, growing it, making changes along the way, evolving, widening the reach, disrupting the market, which was another plan to be different, and have a boutique style, so have the edge, build up a portfolio and then sell the business. That for me was kind of like the whole package, start to finish. And I did it really to learn hands-on. So now I feel equipped to go to other business owners because I've done it from every angle, every stage. So that I think that's probably my biggest accomplishment so far.
Wow, well done. and the thing is about having the plan, sticking to it. Like I said, make changes where necessary, but really stick to that plan that you've got from the outset. I love that. When running a business, entrepreneurship, it can be lonely at times, challenging, and all those. Where do you go for support? And how important is a support network to you?
A support network is crucial. So I've always been a coach myself. I have coaches also. I think everybody needs a coach. It doesn't matter how successful you are. A coach is a key for your business growth and for your own mental health. Sometimes staying sane in this world of business. Just to keep keep you accountable, because it can be a lonely road. And when you're a leader and you have a team, which I had a team of 7, it's managing that so that you've got to stay ahead and you've got to stay in a leadership position while still engaging with your team. But the strategic element of your business, really, your team aren't on that wave of thinking, they're operational. So having been part of mastermind groups, so I've always been in mastermind groups. I'm in 3 at the moment for different reasons. having coaches. So I generally have like 3 coaches at any one time, business related to exactly what I'm doing in terms of my niche, finance, and then like my health and wellness as well. So I recognize that it's important to have that balance, and then just have an accountability. If it's not a mastermind group, there are individuals who I connect with, who are in the same walk as myself, who I can connect with and bounce off as well, and have that accountability from. So it's a lonely walk, but it doesn't have to be if you've got the right network around you.
Yeah, that's important. And you said something there about balance, and I just wanted to take that out actually. How do you balance business and life? You've obviously got a lot going on. How do you balance it all?
I've learned the hard way. I literally burnt out about 18 months ago. So I was going non-stop, typical entrepreneur, stuck in the business, which is why I'm so passionate about that. Although I had a team, I struggled with delegation. I felt that I had to have a presence. I felt guilty if I wasn't there, to the point where I couldn't speak. And being a speaker, that wasn't a joke. I had 3 speaking gigs lined up, all of them cancelled, training cancelled, everything cancelled. But it was probably the best thing that could have happened to me, because I couldn't get out of bed. So 3 weeks, if I stood up, I felt dizzy, like I was going to literally collapse. It was really bad burnout. So that time really caused me to really take a bird's eye view of my life and my business and what I was doing, and really see where I was going wrong. Just literally being here, there and everywhere. So after that, I decided that I'd had enough. I systemized my business, literally emptied my mind of everything that I did, systemized it, delegated, outsourced, till I'd become almost redundant, operationally redundant in the business. And that was the point where I knew I'm ready to sell. So then in freeing up that time, that gave me then time to work on myself in terms of my personal development. I got myself a wellness coach, started taking the right supplements, exercising, time to be, meditating, prayer, and having a structure. So I also read a book, The Miracle Morning. I don't know if you've come across that. So I read that. So then started implementing like the first hour of my day, just to having that balance, drinking a pint of lemon water first thing, these practical things that make all the difference. So it wasn't easy, and it took a tragedy really in me burning out for a wake-up call. I was forced really to do that. Otherwise I probably would have just continued going and going if I could have. So it was.
Yeah, but although yes, it was a tragedy, you've learned from that and now can help others and like the people that you work with, and tell them the importance of finding that balance, and not always having to go, because your health, at the end of the day, your health is above all.
Yeah, exactly. And also just to have the balance, one of the things I do as well is theme my weeks, days as well. So Tuesdays and Thursdays I'd have for like client meetings, external training, whatever. Wednesdays is my coaching day predominantly. Fridays is my personal development and finance, and Mondays is strategy. So just having those themes helps, because then it gives you a focus and you're not taking on too much, because it's what can you manage to take on. If I know I've got a full day of coaching, I can't take another client on, because it would be wrong for me to then tax another area of what I'm supposed to be focusing on to then fit that in. It's about striking a balance. Yeah, definitely.
That's great advice there. Great tip. I'll be using that as well, theming your days, because I work slightly differently. So that's I like that. Lastly, I just want to ask 3 pieces of advice that you'd give to a woman listening, watching, who has a business idea, maybe it's not had the confidence to start it yet. What 3 pieces of advice would you give her?
I'd say start with your self-development, because a lot of people have business ideas, and they're, you know, for different reasons. For some because they want more financial freedom, others because they hate their job and they just want out. There's many different reasons, but if you start digging into who you are more, so when I say self and personal development, really aligned with your purpose. So really discover why are you on this earth? What gifts do you have? And how can you use those gifts in business? Because then when you're operating in your purpose, you won't get bored, you won't run out of steam, you'll have your good days and your bad days, granted, but your purpose is what will get you up in the morning and keep you going. So many businesses fail because they don't have a purpose, so they lose sight of why they started, get overwhelmed, and then think this is too much. So first, really, really identify what your purpose and your gifts are, and ensure that that's in alignment with your business idea. Secondly, I'd say whatever your business idea is, do your research first, because a lot of people come up with a business idea and they haven't researched if there's a real need for it. And they put a lot of time and effort into the exciting bit, which is the marketing and the branding and getting your logos done, and all of that's exciting. And then you go to take it to market and you don't have any clients. So it's make sure there's a need, because as entrepreneurs and business owners, we're problem solvers. So you need to know what problems you're solving with your products or your service.
Yeah.
So market research. It may be in the form of initially an online questionnaire, or go out and just ask people, interview people. People are generally very open to share if you ask them in the right way. So just do your research and know. Thirdly, I'd say, I guess it's still on the line of personal development, but vision. So have a clear vision. So your purpose will lead you to that, but have a vision and a plan. So as I said, start with the end in mind. Know why you're doing what you're doing, and know how long you're doing it for, and where it will end. And you know, not everybody has an exit strategy to sell the business. For some people, it's to leave a legacy, to build an empire, to build a business that will go on long after they've gone. You know, so know what your exit strategy is, what that looks like, because regardless, we're all going to exit the business at some point, regardless. So know what it is, and then always have the end in mind. So that will direct everything that you do, and it will direct your decision making. It will direct the kind of clients that you're taking on. It will direct what your plans are. So just start with, have a clear vision, and if you have a team, ensure that your team also know what that vision looks like.
Yeah, that's important.
So that you're all on the same path. Yeah.
Excellent.
So thank you. 3 key things I'd say.
Yeah, no, thank you, Melissa. Thank you so much for your time. It's been excellent, great advice. And I know that people listening, watching will take a lot from that and your experience. So good luck with everything that you continue to do.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Ideas to Implementation. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Until next time.